Things are not what they seem. Chapter 4. Eva was at a club and there was music playing. And the lights were red. I'm surprised that you came here. You are dating Jessica, the good girl. Damon said, well, I thought going out with a bad girl would be a nice change. Are you going to break up with her? He shook his head and said no. They were sitting at the bar. Damon said to the bartender, I will have a scotch with Coke. What will you have, Eva? She said the same thing. Then Eva smiled. The bartender made their drinks. Then he gave the drinks to them. Eva was playing with her straw. She said, so have you popped that cherry yet? Damon laughed silently. No, I haven't, and that's none of your business. She smiled and said, okay, whatever. Then she went to say something else. But she was cut off by Damon. He said, do you want to get out of here? Eva smiled and said, yes, I do. I want to go to your place. Then they left together. They went to Damon's small one-bedroom apartment. They went to Damon's bedroom. Damon kissed Eva, she kissed him back. Eva said, wow, you really know how to kiss. He said, I know, that's one of my tricks. Then he leaned her back on his bed. He was on top of her. They still had clothes on. Eva said, while being so very close to Damon's face, that their noses were touching. So kissing is one of your tricks? Tell me, what other tricks do you have? Well, my looks and how they draw you in. And my touch makes you do anything I want you to do. Then he took his finger and ran it down her neck. Then she took a deep breath. And said, that does feel good. She took another deep breath. He said, yet, and laughed. Then he ran his finger across her forehead. Then he kissed her. Yet, and another trick of mine. My smell draws you in too. Your smell? Said Eva, and then she laughed. Yet, he laughed again. Then he said, another one is that I feed off your life force, all your life force. And with your life force, I take your life and then you die. She said, what? His eyes went black, then red. She couldn't take her eyes off his. She knew what was happening. But she couldn't turn away. Then there was a blue mist coming from her mouth. The room was black. The only light was Damon's red eyes and the blue mist. There was her life force going into him. It felt good to him. But not to her. Eva felt herself being drained. She was dying. Eva felt everything and she felt herself dying. He could feel her pain. And he enjoyed that. Then Eva died right on Damon's bed. He did not care at all. The only thing he felt was the life in him. Feeding him and making him alive. Dear Diary, I guess Damon is right. I am hiding things from him. But I always hide what I really feel from people. I still feel I don't have a soul. I thought when I fell in love, or something close to it, I would finally feel a soul. But that didn't happen. It felt like I was living for the first time though. I felt so alive. My senses were so much stronger than I ever felt was possible. That first time I met Damon, and after, I didn't want him to leave. Because I know this great feeling would go away. But come to think about Damon. Damon hasn't told me much about himself. The only thing he has told me about himself is he likes the cafe place and me. But I don't even know what he does for work. I only know that he works very hard. And a lot of hours. Who is Damon? Damon was still at his small apartment. It was morning and Eva was still on Damon's bed and dead. He was wearing a dark gray sweater with dark black dress pants. Knock. Knock. Damon answered the door. It was from Mr. Good. Damon said, oh hi Noah, so glad you came, I need trash taken out. Noah was wearing the usual. A dress shirt with shorts and flip-flops, and his hair was down. His hair was curly and wavy and blonde. And Noah had blue eyes. Noah looked down the hallway and saw in Damon's room a girl lying down dead on his bed. There was light shining on her dead body. And the light was coming from a window in Damon's bedroom. Oh, another one, Damon said. Noah, you can't go 1 week? Damon went to his couch and sat down and said, I guess I could do 1 a month like you. Noah said, so what are you going to do with Jessica? Then he sat down in a chair across from Damon. What do you mean? I mean, Damon, are you sure she's the one? You saw her, Noah, she has no soul. That means any supernatural thing good or evil can come in this cruel world. By birth, then Noah said, do you think she knows who she is? Damon said no, not the slightest clue. Noah sat up and walked toward the door. And said, I will call Luke about the girl. I must get to work. I will give your girlfriend a kiss for you. Damon laughed a little. Then Noah left. Jessica was going to her class. She was strangely in a good mood. Because she had a good day, and everything went right for once. Jessica sat down and opened her notebook. A boy came up to her in her class. He said, hi, and what's your name? My name is Jessica. What's yours? Dawn. Dawn said, I always see you at lunch sitting by yourself. Would you like to sit with me and my friends at lunch tomorrow? Jessica smiled and said, sure, I would like that. Dawn smiled. Then Jessica started to say something. And then the teacher said, everyone, take your seats. The class went by fast. Jessica walked to Mr. Good's class in the last class of the day. She walks up to his desk and said hi. Mr. Good looked up from his desk and said, hi, how are you, Jessica? Fine. Mr. Good, what is your name really? Mr. Good smiled and said Noah. Then she went to her seat and smiled at Mr. Good. Jessica was walking to the church. She really didn't know what to expect. What would the priest say? She wasn't sure that she really believed all this. How could he believe this? When she did not, Jessica saw the priest. He was talking to what looked like a married couple. Then he saw Jessica. He smiled at first. Then he had a worried look on his face. Because Jessica had a scared look on her face. Jessica was waiting for the priest to be done with the couple. And after he was done talking to them, then the priest walked up to Jessica halfway. He said, come with me, Jessica. She followed him to his office. He said, so what's the news? He said with a nervous voice. Well, I went to my bathroom. And I looked all over my body, then I saw it. She lifts her shirt and then there it was. But now it was blue. The red curly six was blue now. Jessica was surprised to see it was blue now. Jessica said with a shaking voice it was red. The priest went to a bookshelf that was in his office. He went right to a black book, it looked very old. Then he walked to Jessica. And sat in the chair next to Jessica. He said, this mark is for the bringer of the demon souls. He opened the book to a page. This demon is not a demon at all. He is a fallen angel. He has been alive for 500 years. He was born a very unattractive man by an immortal woman. That probably made a deal with the devil. He finds a woman to bring demon souls. The mark will turn black soon. If you don't remove him from your life. Jessica was shaking from fear. She stood up in a panic. This is stupid, you're crazy. The priest turned the book around to show her. She saw the mark, the same mark that was on her. And she saw what it said. Jessica ran out of the room. And she ran out of the church. She ran until she got to her door. Jessica tried to unlock the door. But the door was already unlocked. Jessica pushed the door open. She saw Damon sitting on her roommate's bed. She was surprised to see him there. She said, what? How did you get in? Damon said with a concerned look. Your roommate let me in. Where is she? He laughed. Well, she left. He touched her upper arm. And rubbed her arm up and down. Are you okay, Jessica? He said, looking into her eyes. With his alluring green and blue eyes, he could see Jessica was shaking. Damon said again, Jessica, are you okay? I don't want to talk about it. Jessica, tell me what's wrong. Why do you want to know? Jessica was almost crying. He said very calmly. What's wrong? Damon's eyes turned brown. Jessica said in a mad voice. I don't want to talk about it with you or anyone. Leave me alone. Leave now. Damon's hands were on both sides of Jessica's arms. And he was holding them tightly. His eyes turned red. Jessica thought of her dreams. She thought the demon had red eyes. She said to herself and inside her head. This is real, he was right. Oh my God. He was right. It's Damon. Jessica's heart was breaking, and tears were coming down her face. She said softly, you're the demon. Jessica put her hand over her mouth. She screamed out loud, "You're the demon." He said, "What? A demon, me?" He said with a grin. Jessica went to devastated to very angry. "I know," she said. "I know. Your eyes are red. Like the demon." Damon turned around toward the door. Then he turned back to look at Jessica. He smiled and said, "You should know you can't run from me. I will see you later, Jessica." Then he left. Jessica collapsed on her bed. She cried and cried so hard and loud for hours. The next day was Friday. Jessica was in bed, still wearing the clothes she had on the day before. The only thing she didn't have on the day before was her shoes. They were off and down beside her bed. Jessica was in her bed, too weak to go to her classes. She slowly went to reach for her call phone. That was on her nightstand. She called the school office. "Hi, this is Ms. Lee. Can I help you?" "Hi, my name is Jessica Destiny. I can't come to my classes today," Jessica said in a very weak voice. "Yes, I can hear how sick you sound. Do you want to see the nurse?" "Do I have to?" "No, you don't have to. You're allowed one sick day a month." "Yeah, I feel too weak to walk that far." "Okay, well, I hope you feel better soon. If you get worse, call 911. Have a good weekend, Ms. Destiny. Goodbye." Jessica put the phone down and laid her head down on her soft pillow. Then she started to cry again. Jessica stayed in her bed all day, and all weekend she cried and slept. She didn't eat or drink anything all weekend. Jessica just stayed in bed. Dear Diary. Damon is the demon that has been haunting my dreams. I have been in bed all weekend. I feel like my heart is broken into pieces. I feel better than I did yesterday. I feel like I am strong enough to stay away from Damon now. What I felt for Damon was not real. Because he was pretending to be a nice normal guy, it was not ever real. And what I felt was not real. My roommate still hasn't shown up. The last time I saw her was when she was talking to Damon. I think he might have killed her or did something else to her. But it couldn't have been good. Jessica took a shower and it felt very good to finally get clean. She then got dressed. Jessica then grabbed her books and walked to her first class. She paid attention in her morning classes and did her very best. Then Jessica came out of class. Then she saw when she came out of class that there was a board that said the jobs in big letters. It was hanging on the wall. She walked to the board that was on a wall. The board had a list of the jobs on it. There were only 3 student names on the board. Jessica signed her full name, Jessica Ann Destiny, and put her phone number next to her name. One job was from the cafe, and the others were from the little shops near the college. Jessica was the only one that signed for them all. Then someone touches her back. She turned around quickly and Jessica was panicked. It was Don. He said, "Yet are you going to lunch?" With a big smile, he was smiling ear to ear. Jessica said yes. "I'm hungry." He said okay. They began walking toward the lunchroom. Don said, "So where were you on Friday?" "Oh, I wasn't feeling well." "Okay, that happens sometimes. Are you feeling better now?" "I feel much better now." They walked into the lunchroom. Jessica followed Don to a table that 4 people were sitting. Jessica saw a pale girl that had black straight long hair and red lips. Jessica thought she looked stuck up, and she was very pretty. She had bright green eyes. She made Jessica feel self-conscious about her own looks. She was so beautiful. The girl was sitting by a black boy. He had very little hair, and he was very cute. And across from them was a couple that Jessica thought they looked like Barbie and Ken. Then the Barbie girl said with a very big smile, even her eyes were smiling. She said, "Hi, my name is Jessica. But everyone calls me Sweetie." Jessica smiled and said, "My name is Jessica too," and made a little laugh, and said, "You can call me Jessica." Sweetie said, "Nice to meet you, Jessica." Then the Ken smiled at Jessica and said, "My name is Nick." Then the pretty girl said, "My name is Victoria." Jessica smiled and said hi. Jessica was very nervous, and she tried to hide her nervousness. She kept telling herself to be normal. Just be normal and smile. The boy who was sitting next to Victoria said, "Hi, you can call me M." Jessica said hi, nice to meet you all. Jessica and Dawn sat down with their lunch. Jessica then said, yeah, does J stand for Michael Jr.? J eyes lit up in surprise. He said, oh yes, it is. So, you were named after your father? Asked Jessica, then Victoria said duh. Then J locked and said of course. 4 days later. Dear Diary, I haven't been to the cafe. Because I don't want to see Damon ever again, and I haven't seen Damon around the school or in my room. I guess he got the point. But the mark is still there. I want it to go away, forever. But on the bright side, I have 5 new friends. I've been having lunch with them every day. They are nice, and Victoria seemed like a mean girl at first. But she is nice, she just doesn't trust new people that come into her life right away. Sweetie is a sweet person and her boyfriend is too. Everyone is nice. I still haven't seen Eva. I am really starting to think she's dead. That thought chills me to the bone. I guess it's my fault. But wait a minute, it's not my fault at all. Damon's a demon, and demons trick. I was lonely when I met him. And he knew that, and that's why he chose me. That's why I fell under his strong spell. But never ever again. But on the not supernatural side, I think I am falling for Dawn. I hope I am, because he would be good for me. And I know he really likes me, even though he hasn't told me. I think he is letting me take my time. He's not the type to push. He is kind and smart like me. And I can tell he lives inside his head like me. I told my mom that me and Damon broke up. Then she asked why. I felt like crying when she asked why, but I didn't tell her the truth. I just tell her that he's too old for me and that we have nothing in common. She said, well, I guess sometimes your mother is right. I have always been good at hiding what I feel and think, like my dad did. That reminds me, October is only 2 weeks away. October the 11th marks the 14th year of my father's death. My mom has totally forgotten about my father ever since she got married and had my little brother. She remarried and had my brother just 2 years after Dad died. I was only 4 years old when he died. But I think I really know him. He kept a diary like me. And he left me it in his will. So, I know him more than my mom ever did. He left me his diary because he knew he was going to die young. He knew I would be too young to remember him. He had a bad heart all his life. But I never forgot him. And I never stopped counting the years he has been gone like my mom did. Jessica was at lunch with her new friends. They all were sitting, and then Victoria suddenly said, oh, there's a new nightclub opening 2 blocks down from here. Dawn said, I don't think that's a good idea. Then Nick said, yeah, they wouldn't let us in. No. Victoria said, on Saturdays and Fridays between ages 18 to 20 are allowed in. Jessica smiled and said, I like that idea. And I need to blow off some steam. Then Dawn said, I guess if you want to go, Jessica, I will go too. Then Sweetie said, yes, I'm down with that. She said, nodding her head. Then Nick said, yes, that will be cool. They all agreed. Jessica smiled at Victoria, and Victoria smiled back. Jessica knew that Victoria was a good friend to have. She was a sweet and caring person. She is a loyal friend to have, and Jessica knew that. Jessica leads that Victoria doesn't like anyone outside her circle. And Jessica knew that from experience. Jessica was still getting used to her new friends. She felt shy still, and she was always trying to be cool. But other times she let her guard down around them. But it was still very new to her. Victoria said, let's go tonight, it's Friday. You cannot get a leech off by telling it to go away. Chapter 5.